All right, so this is our first lesson on income, and this first lesson is really just about vocabulary. So there's not a whole lot to this lesson. Lots of the stuff you probably know already or have had experience with some of it, but we'll talk about some different kind of ways that you can earn money at a job and just what those look like. So first term that we're going to talk about is just income. Okay, income is money coming in. Okay, it's the money that you're making. It is your wage. It's your pay, whatever you want to call it. That is the money that you bring in. Okay, um, I'm just going to say money coming in. Okay, you don't really need to define it much more than that. So these are all different ways of earning an income. Okay, the one that you are likely most familiar with would be just an hourly wage, which is every hour you work, you get a certain amount of money. So maybe that's $15 an hour. If you work 1 hour, you get $15. If you work 2 hours, you get $30, and so on and so on. Okay, um, most basic like entry level jobs are often this way. Like so store clerk, fast food restaurant worker. Those are um, often paid in hourly wages. Wages and tips. Okay, so this would be where you do get an hourly wage, but depending on how many tips you get on your shift, then you also get extra money for that. So, yeah, taxi driver would get this, or hotel worker, but the most common one that you probably experience would be working as like a server in a restaurant, or a chef in a restaurant gets tips as well. So, um, yeah, that's where you're not guaranteed the same. Um, some shifts you might make a lot in tips, and other ones you might not make so much. So there's a little bit more change day to day in comparison to just a normal hourly wage. Salary is when you get like the same amount every paycheck. Okay, it's not talking about how many hours you're working. Um, uh, though you might have to work a certain amount of hours every week or every month or something like that. But if you are on salary, that means you're getting this much money every 2 weeks or that much money every month. Commission is a fun one. Okay, commission is you get a percent of however much you sell. Say, so some places you might get a like an hourly wage and a commission, and some jobs are like completely based on commission. Okay, so like a real estate agent is getting paid commission where they get a percent of if a house sells for however many thousands of dollars, they get a small percentage of that, and that's their income from their job. Car salesman is getting commission based on how much they sell and things like that. So if you're going to be working on commission, that means you're likely you're in some kind of sales job, and you need to have the kind of like right tool set and right kind of personality for that. So there's lots of things that you can learn about that, even if you're not like good at it to start. Um, but yeah, you definitely need to be thinking about that if you're getting into that kind of job. That you need to be able to sell the product if you're going to make your money. Getting royalties, so a payment for a piece of work that is marketed and sold, and then you get money based on how much sales there are. So it says like author and musician, that'd be like if somebody wrote a book, then they're getting paid, they're not getting an hourly paycheck for how much long it took them to write. They're getting like however many books they sell. Like often, if they sell a book and it's $20, the author gets like $1 of that, right? Or $1 or $2, something like that. It's not a whole lot. But if they sell a million books, well, that's pretty good. But not many people do that. Musicians, same thing. They write an album and then they get money based on how many they sell. So piecework is getting money based on how many things you create or completed or something like that. So this would be like different kind of factory jobs often are like this, where like roof trusses, sometimes they work hourly, sometimes they work by piecework, where if you make this truss, often it's like a very repetitive thing. So it'd be like, we need to make 500 of these trusses, and we'll pay you for we'll pay you whatever it is, $1, $2, $5, whatever, for however many each of these that you make. So if you made 100 of these and each of them they paid you $5, then you made $500 for doing that. So it's often something like when there's a big rush on something, sometimes they say like, the faster you can get this done, the more money you're going to make. Oh yeah, cable TV installer is another example of that, getting paid for each one that you do. And then contract. Okay, so this is a contract is maybe the most complicated of these in some ways, as far as if you, well, I'll say in a second. So a contract is when you are getting payment for a fixed period of time and or a fixed amount of money. So this is saying like if you were an electrician, there might be a home builder or some sort of like commercial like store building that's going up, and they're looking for an electrician, and you would give them a quote. So you'd say, well, we can do it for $10,000, and you could come to an agreement with whoever does that, and then after the work is completed, they will pay you that amount of money. So they give you a contract, you agree on a price, you do the work, and then they give you the money. So it's the most complicated though in the sense of if you're the worker, and you are going to be giving a company a quote, then you need to be able to make a good estimate and a good or not even estimate. You need to give them a good price of how much money do you need to spend on materials, how much money do you need to spend for people's hourly wages for like your workers, and how long is this going to take, and all those kind of things, right? So you need to be able to know how all those money numbers are going to come together, and then that you're going to have enough money afterwards, like as profit, as extra money for your business. So those are kind of like the main ways that you're going to make money at different jobs. So on the next page, it just has some like different examples of workers and then how they might make money. Okay, so all of these, like these are not hard and fast rules, but these are pretty good ideas. Okay, so on here, the person who's most likely to make a royalty, I would say, this is like the easy one to start. Royalty was like people who are writing a book or making music or something like that. A screenplay writer is likely going to be making royalty. Okay, they'll write their screenplay, and then every time that's getting used, right, then they're going to be or for sales and different things like that, they'll get a small portion of that. A video store clerk is likely making an hourly wage. Okay, it's a pretty entry-level job. There's not like you're not typically tipping your video store clerk and things like that. A salesperson is another easy one. Salespeople are often getting some kind of commission. Not in every workplace, not all sales jobs make commission, but likely if you're applying for a sales job, that there's probably some kind of commission involved. Landscape architect. Okay, this is one where is definitely going to be from a contract. Okay, this is where someone is looking for someone to do a large job like that. They'll agree on a price, they'll do the work and get paid when it's done. And what do we have left? We have police officer, tour guide, and fruit picker. So I'm going to say police officer out of these three is the most likely to work on a salary where they're going to get a certain amount of money every single month, where they might work a set amount of hours or like have to work the same amount, but they're not getting paid on an hourly wage in the same way. It's for people who have a very kind of consistent job, they're likely getting paid salary. So lastly, we have tour guide and fruit picker, and we have piecework and hourly wage and tips left. So here, tour guide is probably making an hourly wage, and then they can get tips from people who are thinking they're doing a really great job. Thanks for the tour. Here's $5, right? And then fruit picker is most likely out of here to get piecework, where if you're, however much you pick, you're going to get extra money if you, pick more in a shorter amount of time, that kind of thing. Okay, so as I said, not super complicated. But these are all really great things to know about. And if you're applying for jobs or looking for jobs, it's good to know, kind of what to expect, and to try and gauge if this is like a good fit for you. Okay, so there's a couple just practice problems. There's not a 100% right answer, like that you could, it's saying like identify the way workers might be paid, explain how you know. So this is like a pretty good guess you could come up with for these ones, and then come up with some ideas of who might be getting paid wages and tips and who might be getting paid contract. All right, so that's it for this one. See you in the next one.